welcome to today's free web class. I'm super excited you're here. I'm super excited you're joining Trisha and myself here today. And, sorry for the delay. It took me a couple seconds with technology. You know how it is from time to time. We are all living the same challenge each day with our technology. We're all trying to figure out how to get these computers to do what we want them to do. But the thing is, everybody's facing that same challenge. So just look at it with a smile, move on with your tasks, and remember, the technology here is to help you, right? It's not here to hurt you. So it's all good. We're here live. We made it. We're on the Google Hangout. We have Trisha here. She's going to talk to us today about storytelling. But first, guys, let me just tell you a little bit about myself and my story. Now, if you've been following me for a while, which some of you on here have for sure, you guys have seen the journey that I've been on lately over the last few months. When I first started the online journey, as I said many times, I was forced into it, but I honestly believed it would be something that I would do, part-time, maybe here and there, and just doing it when I felt like it, because I wasn't sure, how rewarding it would be, both emotionally, spiritually, and of course, financially. I had no idea what was in store for me. And what I've learned is that not only can you make a full-time income online working part-time, right? Like a part-time hustle or a part-time job, you can make a full-time income. You can make double your full-time income doing that. But the real journey and the real delight that I find comes from meeting people online that are in the same frame of mind as you. So if you guys are like me, you're out there now and you're all focused on personal development, being the best version of yourself you could possibly be, staying motivated, helping motivate other people that you can see are on a similar path, a similar journey. And at the end of the day, what you really can do is turn into the best version of yourself and monetize your skill sets. Now, of course, you have to develop your skill sets, but that's why we have beautiful training courses like this one today where you can learn about storytelling. Now, one of the things that I've learned is that stories sell while facts only tell. If you've been in the online industry or any sales industry or any industry for that matter that has commerce attached to it, which are all industries, you've been around the features and benefits world. You've been around the places where people talk to you about the different features and benefits, how much it costs, what it can do, the technical side of things. And you've also been around people or companies or corporations who tell a story, who tell you a passion story as to how they got where they got. Maybe they had a tough time and then they came out of it. I'm sure you guys have watched lots of movies, watched TV shows. The most famous type of story these days that I'm seeing in movies is the hero story, right? Someone, they make you fall in love with them at the beginning, so you get emotionally attached to that character. Take him through some tough times, right? Some heartache. Maybe he has to fight in a war. He has some issues. And then he pops out of it at the end and he turns out to be the hero. That's the hero story, right? That's the most popular movie story there is. Next time you watch a movie, keep that in mind and you'll probably see a hero tucked in there somewhere, if not the main character. Now, one thing that I had to learn personally about storytelling was that people can actually be inspired by your stories. And the reason for storytelling are a few. One, it gets people to know who you are, right? Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? People do business with people that they know, like, and trust. They don't do business with you because you have the best deal. They don't do business with you because you have the shiny new ball that they're looking at. They do business with you because they know, like, and trust you. So if you can have nice stories that have value-based woven in, you will have people that know, like, and trust you. Sativa, shh. Sativa knows, likes, and trusts me. Excuse me. So another thing about stories, when you tell your story, whether it's a story of pain that comes into pleasure, or it's pain and you're still in the pain, or it's all pleasure, when you tell your story, you give inspiration to other people to tell their story, or at least to start thinking about their story. You give them permission to explore their inner self and their own stories, and you give them permission to actually step into their power and be the best version of themselves they can be, right? You give them permission to do that. That's what stories do. That's the power of storytelling. So without further ado, I'd like to bring out our coach for today's session, Trisha. She knows a lot about storytelling. She's a coach. She's an online, offline business coach with a wonderful track record. I'm very humbled to have her here to explain some things about storytelling. I'll let her take it away. Enjoy this web class, guys. I have my pen and paper for notes. I hope you do too. And I'll see you at the end. Take it away, Trisha.
Well, thank you for having me here, Sivi. It's an honor to be on the show with you as well because you're just amazing. There's so much that Sivi and I discussed together, and we actually came together so that we could add massive value to your life. It's New Year, and we thought that we should really be doing something for you, and that's the reason we have planned this Tuesday webinar series. And just like Sivi said, storytelling is really very important. So, because it's about storytelling, so I'll share my story with you briefly. So, I come from a corporate background and I was working as director of marketing and communications. In my corporate job, I retired myself on that post, but even though I was successful in my corporate life, I was not fulfilled. I really wanted to do something. I had so many skills, and I really wanted to use them my way. I wanted time freedom, I wanted financial freedom. I just wanted to do things my way. So that's what got me into the online world in 2016, and ever since I've been really happy doing it. And story is something that I have used to influence, to be a social media influencer, and you will just know how to do it. So what I am what okay, what I want to tell you is that right after you get off this web class, just go ahead and write your story, because that's a tool that you should definitely be using. All right, so without much ado, now we will just hop on. Let me just share my screen and we will start the training. Is the slide visible, Sivi?
Yeah, you're visible.
Okay, great. All right, guys. So, today we'll be covering a lot about storytelling. Why should we do storytelling, the advantages, and all that stuff. So, we are going to be, and the focus is how to tell stories that sell. Okay, that's exactly what we are going to be doing right now. Okay, is the second slide up?
No.
Okay, I don't know. For some reason, it's not doing it on full screen. Okay. So why should we tell stories? Okay, everyone loves stories, and storytelling has been around for ages and ages and ages, yeah, since times immemorial, because we are all social creatures and we love stories, right? It's just a kind of a trait that we have, that we love stories, okay? So we're social creatures who need to compare ourselves to other people, feel a connection to them, and put ourselves in their shoes. When we're doing marketing, this is exactly the reason why we share our stories, so that people can relate to it, right? People, we whenever there's a story, people would, and the best thing is, you get to grab the attention of the people. Since we love stories, whenever there's a story, people would read the story, people would listen to the story, right? They they just stop and they listen. Okay, that's what they do. Against anything else, maybe an advertisement or something, they won't watch it. But if there's a story, they will definitely stop and watch it. And that is the reason, I don't know if you have noticed the trend, but even the advertisements today have taken on to the storytelling trends, right? They're not discussing features and benefits, but what they are doing is, they use the product, and like they make the product the hero of the story and show how it's changed the life of a person, right? That's what they are doing. Everyone is adopting the storytelling model in marketing, even if it's advertising, because storytelling is very powerful. No one just wants to watch the features and benefits and all that stuff. So stories are interesting. People are curious in nature, and many of them are good listeners. While a narration is genuinely impressive, they're willing to spend a lot of time digging into these stories. So, once you saw a story, people would sit back and either read it or watch it till the end because they want to see what's the end of the story, right? That's what they want to see. And it has happened to me that, I never watched advertisements that much, but when I see a story ad, I sit back and I watch it until the end just to see, oh, okay, what's the end? You're right. So we love stories, right? We really, it's something that creates a pleasure in us, right? That's the reason we we love to listen stories. And seriously, storytelling is fun as well, because I'm actually a storyteller and I love to tell stories. Secondly, stories gain trust. Whomever you decide to share your personal stories with, it makes you closer. So just like Sivi mentioned a bit earlier, the stories actually create the know, like, and trust factor. So how does it create a know factor? The thing is, when you share your stories, people know. Okay, people know what your story is, what you've gone through, okay, what are your values, what are your morals, what are your principles. They get to know you, right? So keep sharing stories in different ways. Like I teach my students the different kinds of stories when I will be sharing, four kinds of stories with you also here on this webinar. So that really helps. All right. And then how does it create a like factor? The thing is, they would be the people who actually resonate with your stories, the people who like your character through the stories. What they do is, they get to like you because of your story. Otherwise, they wouldn't even know you. And if they don't know you, they won't be able to like you, right? And once they know you and they like you, they know what you're made of, they automatically, they get to trust you. So that's the reason stories are essential for you to build trust in the market. Okay, people are just more perceptive towards stories in contrast to dry statistics and facts. For example, in our industry, there are a lot of people who would be like, yay, I made $10,000, I made $15,000, or maybe, they'll be just be plastering their product all over their Facebook walls and all that stuff. But people really don't like that. They don't even care. What they'll do is they'll just scroll down. All right. But when you tell a story, right? When you tell a story on how, for example, maybe you've just made $1,000, but what did you go through? What did you do to make that $1,000 is something that people will really be interested. And when you tell your stories, that's something that's going to draw the attention of people, because they can relate to it and they will say, okay, if this person can do it, then I can do it. So I can do it myself, right? If this person could take the pains, if this person would struggle, then I can also struggle, right? That's what something people really like, right? And secondly, show the results in the form of stories, right? The story of transformation. People really love, absolutely love transformational stories, right? So that is the reason you should be telling stories. Now, advantages of telling stories. People are struggling with lead generation, right? People are just suffering rejections and pushbacks all the time. But this is something that no one would tell you, that if you use storytelling, you will be able to get over all these challenges that you might be facing right now. Okay. For
Trisha,
example, yep.
Trisha, sorry to interrupt. Your slide presentation, I think you're on a different screen. You're still on slide number 1.
Oh,
Maybe
I have
maybe you're
that
just yeah.
moved on slide 3. I think
I
there's
think
a
you're I think you could be sharing the wrong screen or something there.
no. I'm on the same screen. Okay, just wait. Do you see it now? Oh, for me it's just one right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a problem in what do you see now?
Oh yeah, now it's moving. That's number 3. Yeah.
But when I actually do a full, I don't know, it's not working. See? It's getting back to one. So probably I'll keep it this way, okay?
Sure.
All right. So lead generation, people really struggle with lead generation. And if you are telling a story from your heart, your own story, you will see people are so bothered about engagement, they're so bothered about lead generation. And you know what? When you share your story, you will have no, absolutely no challenge in lead generation. And let me tell you what, these are not cold leads, these are warm leads, right? That's the best part about when you tell your story. You not only generate leads, but you are generating warm leads, right? The people whom you attract with your story are warm leads, right? This is one of my major marketing strategies that I use, and I've got no dearth of leads. All of these are, warm leads. People reach out to me all the time on their own, inquiring about my business. People love me, and that's just because I tell stories from my heart. I share my personal stories all the time. I share the lessons that I've learned from life, and I've never ever held myself back. One thing that is essential in storytelling is that you have to be authentic, right? And just I'll tell you something. Last week we did a webinar on personal branding, and one of the pillars of personal branding is vulnerability. And you share your vulnerability by sharing your stories, right? That is really important. So I'll give you an example that I've tried to end my life in the past, all right? I was in depression for 12 years. I have been battling two serious medical conditions for the past 14 years, all right? And I've got my corporate story. I share all this with people, right? And to the extent that, I think the biggest what should I say? I don't have the word actually right now to share my feeling, but once I shared my suicide and depression story, I did a Facebook live on it, and one lady comes back to me, and she says that, you know what, Trisha, you saved my life by telling your story today. I was planning to end my life. I don't think that I could have got a better reward by telling my story, right? It's much bigger than the thousands of dollars of sales. It's, I don't know, it's a life that I saved with just my story. So from that day onwards, I just like, go ahead and share everything, and I'm so excited about storytelling just because I know that I'm changing lives, telling my stories. And that's how I became a coach. So storytelling is a big part of my marketing because one, I don't have to fake anything. I just speak from my heart, and people get attracted towards me, which is worth more than any, paid advertising or anything that people do, right? By simply telling stories, I attract people towards myself. So it plays a big role, and it's a big tool for lead generation. The second thing is you get loyal followers, right? So the different kinds of posts that I have categorized and I teach to my students. So there's one kind of post that's called as the attraction post, and storytelling is one of the attraction posts, right? And engagement for following, yeah, you need engagement, but engagement alone doesn't actually solve the purpose of your marketing. What you need is a true following, right? People will come and like your post, and one is people would not like only like and love your post, but they like and love you. And that's what your goal is, that people love and like you, right? So you create loyal followers for yourself who will follow you to the end of the world because you're telling your stories, right? Your stories help build a tribe, because marketing is all about tribe building, right? You need to build a tribe. So that's the reason you should be telling stories, because there are a lot of people who would relate to your stories. For example, I was in depression for 12 years. So this all those people who are depressed and who were depressed relate to my story, and what they think is that, okay, if Trisha could do it, I can do it as well, right? So there is a tribe that I'm building through my storytelling, and it builds trust, because that's the biggest thing that you need in your marketing, that people trust you. Right? Excuse me. People join you in your business when they trust you, otherwise they will not join you, right? Even if people have to make a $10 investment, they will not make it until they trust you, right? So that is really very important. So storytelling is something with which you can build trust effortlessly. There won't be any problem, because you're sharing everything about yourself, you're getting vulnerable. So like I said, people are going to know, like, and trust you. Now, storytelling totally eliminates rejections and pushbacks. Reason being, rejections and pushbacks come when you become too salesy, or people don't know you, or you don't know how to do marketing, right? That's when you get these rejections and pushbacks. But when you are telling your stories, you kind of, people just let their guards down, okay? Because they see that, oh, this person is so honest. All right, so this person is not going to trick me into anything, right? Whenever I'm sharing everything, this is what, whenever, just like yesterday, I did a post on my what I shared with my coaching client, and then I just shared these two lines that people really loved. That, when I got into coaching, I had to face my fears. I had to have I had to step out of my comfort zone, and I really had to believe in myself. Just this sentence alone, people just loved it, because I showed my vulnerable side, which is true, okay? I just I just Sivi, what slide are we on now? 3?
Yeah, we can see slide number 3, Trisha.
Yeah. Okay, that's where I am.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My apologies. Continue. Sorry.
Okay. So that's the thing, all right? So that's what we want, right? So that's people really love that. So people know when you're sharing your stories. So when they know that you are an honest person, you will not trick them. There is no rejection, right? Whatever they're going to come up, they're always going to come up with honest answers. They will not lie to you that they don't have money. They will not lie to you. They will not give you a runaround. They'll either say a yes, or they'll say a no. If they're ready, they'll join you. If they're not ready, they'll just say no. But they will not lie to you, because you are being honest to them all the time, right? So it really brings down the possibility, or eliminates rejections when it comes to joining you in business. It might not be suitable for them, they may not have money, that's something different, but you will never be facing a rejection because of lack of trust. Okay, that is really this is something, these are the biggest advantages of storytelling. So I'm going to be sharing with you a few storylines, okay? And these are the storylines that I have actually learned from Russell Brunson in his book Expert Secrets. And if you've not read the book, I would really recommend this book to you, because I think every marketer should read Expert Secrets. So these are the storylines that I learned from his book, and this is really, really great. So I wanted to share it with you. So stories are a great way to communicate with your audience, right? You know that I think this is by far the best way that I have found, where I enjoy reading stories and I enjoy telling stories. All my close friends on Facebook are the ones who share their stories, right? Who are vulnerable, right? Because no one wants to be friends with a show off or a close person. You can't be friends with people with whom you don't know. And since our business model is a friends for life business model, we really need to know, like, and trust the person, and that happens when you know everything about that person. Okay, so there are six basic storylines that businesses use over and over again in emails, sales letters, landing pages, and other communication. So once you learn how to use the storylines, you will see for yourself how powerful they are, and you would want to use them over and over in different ways. So this is the loss and redemption story, right? This is, I think, uh, it's a very powerful way of attracting people to yourself and showing them your metal. Okay, the thing is, our business model is a leadership business model, right? And what does a leader do? The leader actually takes the arrow on his backs, right? And keeps moving on and heals on his way, right? Uh, that's a leader. That's what a person does, right? And this is all. And when people see that, okay, this person is someone who's gone through a lot in life, has struggled like hell, and has triumphed over everything. So that's the kind of person people want to follow. Okay, that's the thing. So this is a kind of a format. Okay, so like, I had everything, I was on the top of the world, life was great, then there is a blank happened, I had to figure out my way off, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because I went through and I learned and received. Now let me just fill in my story in it. See how you would love it. I had everything. I was on the top of the world. Life was great. Okay, for me, it was okay. I was working as director marketing communications. I had a great paycheck. I had a great boss. But then my mother fell sick and I had to be with her all the time. But because I was working in a full time job, I couldn't do that. And because my mother means so much to me, I decided to resign from my job without a plan B. Okay? Now, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Now, how do I tell this story? So, let me just tell you my story. Let me tell you this story so that you understand. So, what happened is that, I was working, I had a great paycheck. I had a great boss also. I wouldn't say that things were bad for me. No, everything was great. The only thing is that, I felt trapped in the plastic world. Okay, I couldn't fit in. I felt suffocated in my fancy glass cabin. But when you get a good paycheck, you can't gather, you don't have the confidence to leave your job, right? That was my case. So when then came a time that my mother fell really sick, okay, and I wanted to be with her, because she was very sick. And one day she was feeling so unwell, and I had to go to the office because we had foreign clients and I had to do the presentation, so I had to go. So that day, as I was walking down to my office, I decided that, what, I have to leave this job because my job is not more important than my family. My family, my parents, they mean everything to me. So I was like, I need to, no point. This money is of no use to me if I can't be with my family. So the next day, I resigned from my job without a plan B. I didn't know what to do. Next 3 months were really tough. All right. I had to take care of my mother. She was quite unwell. But then after 3, 4 months, somehow, I just got her back to health. And after that, I actually started to think, what should I do, right? Maybe should I start my own marketing agency or whatever. I was just contemplating on what to do when I received a link in my Twitter DM of a network marketing company. And even though I had no clue about network marketing, and in fact, I never even heard the term, even though I was a marketer myself. Okay. But when I saw the presentation, it was something that clicked me that yes, this is something that I want to do, and we are made for each other. And that's how I got into network marketing, the online world, and that was a blessing in disguise for me. And now I am an online business coach. You see this? This is the lost and redemption story. All right. So this is how you project your loss and redemption story, that everything is great. And it's actually true. Many people lose their jobs or people fall sick. In my case, I've got 3 or 4 loss and redemption stories. So this is how you tell a loss and redemption story. So loss and redemption stories are very powerful because they show the upside of going through hardship and meeting challenges. So did you see how I met my challenge? I took a risk, and I worked hard, and today I'm an online business coach, right? So this is my loss and redemption story. I'm sure you will also have one. It's now this is us versus them. You want to use you want to use us versus them stories to polarize your audience. Using these types of stories will draw your raving fans even closer and give them a rallying cry against outsiders. Create polarity by drawing a line in the sand between you and your competition. Okay, so polarity is a kind of contradiction that you are creating, right? So that you actually show the people that, see, this is what I am doing and this is what other people do, right? Like something like, you must have heard this line a lot, that don't be sucked in by all of those gurus with false hype, right? That's true. The lot of people that, they create false hype. Like I can say, don't be sucked in by those people who are posting Lamborghinis and they show this classic lifestyle on their wall, because that doesn't really matter, right? That doesn't really matter. It's only the people who share value are the ones who can lead you to realize your dreams. That is what you want to be doing. So this is how you prove yourself, right? This is also very powerful, because when you do um, an us versus them story, people relate to it. It's kind of, you're touching their pain, because a lot of people have gone through it, right? They would be like, I could definitely be relating to it because uh I brought those tons of trainings, and it didn't work for me. It was like people creating hype that, oh, recruit 100 reps in just 1 month or something like that, which doesn't happen, right? And this is a great story that now I use for my audience. That's the story that I use, that don't be sucked in by the hypes. Before and after. All right. Now, these are stories of transformation. You must have seen that these stories, these before and after pictures and stories, are often used in health products, health and fitness products, weight loss products. So, this is also really powerful. Okay. Use these stories of transformation, and they work great in any market. These stories are pretty self explanatory and simple to write. These stories are powerful motivators, and you should use them often, right? So, my before and after story is my online business story, what I was before and what I am now, right? I have grown spiritually, I have grown in every way, right? I have, whatever I could think of, I did massive personal development. I got these trainings, and now I'm a much better human being. I have grown spiritually, I've grown professionally, and the best part is that I am highly fulfilled, right? So there could be, a weight loss product, for example. So a person who's overweight, right? The person has a lot of confidence issues, the person may have had health issues, right? So you would see in these weight loss and health products that people share the stories that before this product, having this product, this is what I was, and after using this product or having this product, this is my story. So people really like this, and this story really works. It really, really works. Amazing discoveries. So you will see this a lot again in webinars and all this. People, their discoveries. Discoveries are, when something new is being introduced to the market. Like, oh my gosh, you guys, wait till you hear about this amazing new thing I just discovered. You're not going to believe this, but I hit it out of the park on my first try. I wasn't sure it would work, but it's amazing. You've got to try it. I'm sure this sounds familiar because I have heard the same lines dozens of times on people when people are promoting products on webinars and all this stuff. So this creates and intrigues a person and this is like we are curious by nature. So this really, really draws our attention, like, oh wow, what is this? What is this product? Everyone wants to know, right? So these stories are huge for selling webinars. This is what people do when they want to introduce something in a webinar. They will not tell you what it is about, but they do this to attract people to hop on webinars and teleseminars because they help people believe that the answers they've been searching for is finally available to them. So I will give you an example. Just 3 days back, I was on this my one of my friends shared a product with me that's actually a belly fat reduction product that's really amazing, and she shared it with me, and I was really intrigued with the product because I just can't take any product because of my health condition, and post my surgery I have developed this belly fat, and because I cannot exercise heavily to reduce my belly fat, I really needed something. So she gave this to me, and these are the exact opening lines that were used. And I was really intrigued, and of course it was a great presentation, and I stuck till the end because I really wanted to know what it is all about. And let me tell you, the inventor of the product himself was speaking, and he told his wife's story. So it had this before and after story, it had the you versus them story, and it had the before and after stuff, just like I said. And he talked about this discovery, and it was so powerful. The presentation was really powerful. There are no fancy pictures. It was just a white slide with black text on it, and he was just speaking with emotion, and that's what drew me to him. So if excuse me, if he was, discuss if he would have discussed the features and benefits of the product, I wouldn't have seen it. But because he was sharing his wife's story, the trauma that she went through, the trauma that both of them went through because her health problems, I could relate to it, right? It seemed to me as if it's my story. So you see how powerful it is? And guess what? I bought the product. All right, I brought the product. But he covered every aspect. Not just the stories, but he knew. When you're writing a good copy, you actually think of all the objections that people might have, especially people like me who've got health problems. So that was a phenomenal presentation that he did. Okay, secret tellings. Now, this is again, if you tell someone, I've got a secret, oh my God, people are going to leave their work and listen to you. Again, this curiosity factor in us. We really love all to learn secrets, right? So, this is like, hey, I've got a secret. If you want to find out what it is, you need to, right? You need to hop on my webinar, you need to hop on my live, you need to hop on this presentation. People really like it, right? They will hop on just to find out what that secret is. Okay, the lure of secrets draws the reader into your funnel and set up your value ladder. Okay, secrets are great for funnels. I'll tell you a secret and people would click on it. Maybe they'll go to the next page. So secret tellings again are very, very powerful, and you should be using this. Third person testimonials, like, this is again the testimonials, I think they are very powerful, especially if you are a coach or you are a consultant, if you're someone who's giving services, right? Or if you're someone who's used the product, testimonials really work, right? That's the reason where the weight loss products and all that stuff, people use these testimonials, right? People use testimonials, they share their experiences, and that's something that builds an authenticity for a product or a business, right? Sharing other people's successes with your products and programs provides powerful social proof. Get as many third person testimonials from your customers, clients, and students. Then sprinkle them liberally throughout your stories or use them as standalone stories and case studies. So, this is what we do. Like, Sivi and I belong to the same millionaire mentoring group, right? So we have our own stories, plus we have the stories of our teammates who have been really successful using the strategies that our millionaire mentors have taught us for business, okay? And they're so powerful. So what I do is I never share the money that my teammates are making, but instead what I do is I share their stories, right? That what was it before they joined Millionaire Mentoring, and what is it now after joining Millionaire Mentoring, or maybe for my other businesses. This is really very powerful again, and this is something that people really, really relate to. Testimonials actually are authentic, they build trust, and it sets people thinking that, okay, this is something, okay, if this person has benefited by it, then I can definitely give it a try, I can do it. So Yeah, third person testimonials are really important. So these are the ways by which you tell stories, and the most powerful story would be your own personal story, because that's something that builds the know, like, and trust factor. So now I hope you've taken notes, and I really recommend you to go ahead and buy the book Expert Secrets, because there's a lot that you will learn from it. Okay, and go ahead and write your story today. Have a story for everything, because I have a story for everything. Make sure your story, you don't fake your stories. They're authentic stories, because people can make out, okay? People can really make out if you are lying or you are telling a true story. That's really really important. And if you are thinking that, oh, okay, yeah, you're a coach, you know how to write a story, so let me tell you, storytelling, of course, it is a skill. But there's one thing: if you write stories from your heart, you will be really good at it. You will find the right words, you will find the right expressions, because that's how I started telling my stories, right? No one told me how to write a story. No one gave me the format for the stories or anything. I just started writing from my heart, and practice makes a man perfect. That stands true in everything. The more you write, the better you would get. And of course, then, just keep building on your skills. That's it. But to start with, you don't need those excellent writing skills, because, like I said, if you're writing from your heart, you will always find the right words and the right expressions. So that's it for today.
Cool. Nice. Thank you very much, Trisha. That was very informative. I have lots of notes. I have multiple pages of notes over here. I hope you guys were taking notes too.
Thank you, Sevi.
Yeah, very good. One of the takeaways for me were the different types of stories. I've never looked at breaking down stories into different types of stories. When we talked about the hero story at the beginning, that was pretty much the only story I was aware of. I didn't go deeper and think about the different styles of stories. So I have some work to do. I'm going to look at my own self. I'm going to look at my own past, and I'm going to start writing out my own stories. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing too. Like when you see these big online marketers making their waves in the world, when you see these big entrepreneurs, let's take the biggest, for example. Let's talk about Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone or Gary Vee, any of these, the biggest in the world. Okay, even if you want to go offline and talk about guys like Richard Branson and Elon Musk, right? These guys all if you go and look back at their content, they're referring to stories the entire time. They're getting you emotionally vested in their life, right? That's why Ty Lopez has 100 Snapchat uploads every single day, because he's showing you his life. He's pulling you into his life. And if that's something that you want to explore, you can go back, watch the replay of this, take more notes, and break down each individual piece and look at yourself and look at where your own life has taken you and the reasons you got to where you are now, and then wrap a story around that event. You can see what you did, what your actions were, what you learned, how you came out on top or didn't come out on top, how you came out or what you could have done better. All of that stuff, wrap it around, create a story from it, and arm yourself with stories. I was watching an interview with Ray Higdon and his wife a couple of weeks ago, and one of the pieces of advice that she gave her audience, and these are her words, were arm yourself with stories. So that goes without saying. They're one of the biggest network marketers in the world right now, and they are arming themselves with stories. So our brand, Just Copy What Works. Arm yourself with stories like the professionals do. Now, if you don't think you have a story to tell, you do. Every single person has had hard times, good times. Everyone's come through adversity at some point. Everybody's learning on this journey. Now, I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again here at the end. The power that comes from storytelling is, of course, getting people to know, like, and trust you and understand that you also have pain, right? Just like Trisha said, People that are only posting pictures of themselves and their Ferrari and how much money they make, that's all fine and good. But that's not reaching out to people and helping them on their journey. That's more showing off and letting your ego do the talking, right? If you show your vulnerable self, if you really tell people what you're doing in your life and how it's going and how you're overcoming things, right? You're going to inspire people to do the same. Now, maybe those people won't be telling a story. Maybe they won't be a network marketer and digital entrepreneur, a internet marketer, an affiliate marketer, or whatever it may be. Maybe they're not in this niche at all, but they could take a look at themselves and say, oh, well, Civi went through this and this, and he got over here and he succeeded, regardless. Or Trisha was depressed and now she's not, she went through it. When you see these stories from people, they inspire you, right? I get inspired by listening to people's stories every single day. It's a huge part of my day now, is listening to people's stories and trying to figure out the things that they figured out to get them through that story, right? And then I want to implement it myself. So storytelling not only can help you liberate yourself from your past and help you work through whatever internal issues you have and remove any blocks you have from actually accepting all the universe's energy it has, right? If you can remove the blocks through storytelling, you're going to kill 2 or 3 birds with one stone, right? You're going to look deep in yourself and you're going to figure out who you are and where you came from and where you're going. And you're going to do it around a story. You're going to help inspire other people to see where they're going and how they can improve their life through your story. And at the end of the day, if your goal as a network marketer is to have a lot of people on your team and massive team duplication and make tens of thousands of dollars a month from a computer anywhere in the world, anytime you choose, then you will be cultivating stories and your team members will be cultivating their stories. And for you guys watching this live or on the replay, you can reach out to Trisha or I, and ask us about the programs that we're in, what we're doing to further ourselves as digital entrepreneurs. And if you have a story to tell that you feel is inspiring, I encourage you to take the step, take the leap, jump off the cliff, and just tell the story. It might not be easy. Actually, I can guarantee you it's probably going to be difficult. You might get slightly choked up here. You might have tears in your eyes while you're talking. It's completely normal. The difference is between people who can succeed in this niche versus the ones who can't. The ones who succeed are able to step into their truth and tell that story as true as it is and feel the feelings that come with it. Feel the pain, feel the happiness, right? And others that are out there on a similar journey, they will feel the pain too, and they will feel the happiness, and they'll celebrate your wins with you. Other people that are watching and could be judging you, maybe you're scared of people judging you, scared of people, thinking, oh, that person's weak, why are they crying on those people, they're not there yet, okay? They're not on your vibe, so don't worry about what those people think. The people who support you are the people you need to think about. The people who don't even think about them. Eventually, if they're on a self-development path, they will step into their power one day and you'll see them telling their story. Okay, so thank you very much for the web class today, Trisha. That was very informative. I enjoyed it very much. Again, Trisha and I are both in the same Millionaire Mentoring program. If you guys want to jump in with us, reach out to Trisha or I. There's a button right here you can click to get started now. And I'm telling you what, if you want to make 2019 your year, or if you want to improve on an even better life that you're having right now, whatever the case may be, it does not matter where you are. I can tell you simply and honestly, having mentors who not only have made multi-millions of dollars, but can teach you the laws of the universe that they have learned on their journey to becoming multimillionaires and becoming the best version of themselves. The wisdom that they can share with you is priceless. And the fact that we can sell it for $1,000 a pop is absolutely phenomenal. It's unbelievable. It's the most low risk, high yielding, amazing opportunity I've ever seen. And that's why I'm always talking about it and trying to help as many people see the light as possible. But like anything, we can only show you the door and hand you the key. You have to walk through it. So we hope to see you on the other side. Cultivate your story. Arm yourself with stories. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning on this broadcast. You can share this replay with your friends if you wish. You can go back and watch it again. It'll be up for a little while. Have a wonderful day from Trisha and I, and we will see you next Tuesday. Trisha, what are we talking about next Tuesday?
Oh God, I just forgot. We will let you know.
Oh, that's okay. We'll release a poster this week and we'll let you guys know what's happening next Tuesday. Same time, 7 p.m. Standard Pacific time. We'll have another Training Tuesday web class with Trisha. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Thank you, Trisha. Everyone have a wonderful day. See you.
Bye.